Welcome back to GSL Code with Artosis and Wolf.
Hey guys.
We did a group earlier this morning. Have to say it wasn't my favorite group so far.
It was much better than our second group yesterday, though.
That's what I hear. I'm going to skip most of those VODs, but it wasn't really that good. It was like kind of entertaining a little bit to see how Journey tried to play.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's, you know, Code. Yeah, some of them are awesome, some of them are not.
Yeah.
That's what you're watching.
That's how it goes.
They'll all be awesome as of Code S. We normally have like one bad group in round of 32, and then one questionably okay-ish group in round of 16. And other than that,
and then the rest of the groups are just all amazing.
Yeah, generally speaking.
You know, it's a lot of stories to have figured out, but the story of Code is still unfolding in front of us.
Indeed.
As soon as we finish this group, we'll be halfway done. Of course, we're going to have Wednesday through Friday. Right. Next week, the same amount of matches. We're going into now Group F, I believe it is. And
is that the sixth letter of the alphabet?
Yes.
A, B, C, D,
E, F. Yeah, E is before F,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
And then, of course, G, H, I, J, K, and L. I think L will be the 12th letter.
Yeah. Thank God we don't have any more groups than that, because M and N, that gets really confusing.
Yeah, that is confusing.
Who knows which comes first and which comes second? I can't keep track of these things.
M comes first and N comes second.
That's what you say. Like. All right, so let's take a look at the results from this morning. Solar and Bjall get out. Deer, after this, has tweeted he and Mouse Sports have parted ways.
Yeah.
This was decided before the match.
Yeah, I guess he was going to probably made some agreement to play one last game with the Mouse jersey, something like that. So, well, that
best
means
of luck to Mouse and best of luck to Deer on that.
He's also said he's announced that he's looking for a new team. He's going to take a little break while he's searching for that. So, if they're out there, if you're a Korean team especially, he's pretty close by. He's pretty good.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's take a look at today's group. Ruin, Reality, Sulky, Hiva. I really like this group, Wolf. Ruin impressed me a lot in last Code A. Reality has impressed me since the beginning of the Kessler players come over. Sulky, best Zerg in the world. And Hiva holds a place near and dear to my heart. This guy will do anything. He is sometimes so cheesy, but he can play a longer game.
Yeah.
He's very aggressive. He's a lot of fun to watch. I actually, truly, not even being sarcastic here, I love watching Hiva.
I do as well. He's a fun player. Now, Reality in the group is kind of the off-colored Terran. He's a very defensive-oriented player, and that's why maps like Altazim work out pretty well for him.
That's true. The Dream could occur as well. Do you remember, because you were casting and I watched it for 2.5 hours or so, Reality versus Sulky?
Yeah, it was 2.5 hours, and then
in the rematch it was like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's too bad Reality messed that up. I was really hoping for just 5 hours of Reality versus Sulky.
That was such a funny game when Sulky was like, I'm not going to leave the game, and Reality's just like, okay, and he lifted all of his buildings into the main base.
He's like, no, this is a draw.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Well, he decided that it was a draw. He could have tried to win it, but he decided instead of
it was up
safer to draw it. Yeah.
Hiva had Sulky had no say. But anyways, if you guys haven't seen that, the longest professional match in Korea, I believe Mana vs. Firecake.
Yeah, that was the longest.
Similar length, maybe a little bit longer.
I think it was like 255 or something. That one, a little bit longer.
Yeah, but for Korean professional play, that was by far the longest.
Yeah.
Second longest, I don't even remember, like an hour 35 or something. Yeah, I believe you and Calder cast that a long time ago.
Yeah, TVT. Yeah. Well, let's find out who's going to take the lead going into this group. Will it be Ruin, the up-and-comer from IM, or will it be Reality, the defensive Terran? Let's jump into Altazim Stronghold for map number 1.
Down in the bottom right, a very strong up-and-coming Protoss player for IM. He is
Ruin.
Very unique, and he's one of very few Korean programmers to only have 2 names, not 3, which is more normal in Korean. His name is Hongduk. His opponent to the
parents
top
cut to the chase.
Reality.
Sorry, I had to do it before the time ran out.
There's Reality, his opponent.
Hoping to bring a dose of that to Ruin.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I really like Reality's play. I think he's a very strong Terran. You know, it's so funny, when he first popped on the scene, when Pro League first started up a while back, not this season, but like the first season of Pro League for StarCraft II, I thought he looked so great in the first couple games, and then he went like 1-7 or something. I was like, oh, but here he is in Code A now. I'm not surprised to see him here. I actually think that this guy will become a fixture of Code S over time.
One of the players he beat, actually, to get in is GSL finalist Lucira.
Oh.
Just noticed that there on the bottom.
I'm sure that saddened some people. A lot of Lucira fans out there, or Kongho, as we call him now.
I think he went back to Lucira, actually, recently.
I'm actually going to choke slam him off a 10-story building. This is ridiculous.
That's pretty crazy.
Why
I don't know if you should do that.
Do these people change their names so much? I'm not even going to talk about it.
Well, the thing is, like,
I'm
it's
gonna let
not.
this go.
Well,
you know what? I'm going to die too young if I keep thinking about people changing their IDs.
Well, I mean, in this case, right, it's basically him deciding whether he wanted to use his ID or his name. It's like a very Cat's Pajamas-esque situation. But Cat's Pajamas never went back to Cat's Pajamas. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he doesn't do as much gassing anymore.
Yeah.
So, in some ways, it works out. And Kevin Naki's a pretty good name, right?
It is, actually.
And Cat's Pajamas is a pretty bad ID, right?
Yeah, it definitely was not the Cat's Pajamas, that ID.
It was a better ID for him when he looked Amish.
It suited him at the time, moving into a more professional role.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess the closest he could have gone was like CPJ or something. Just go with like a 3-letter ID.
CPJ. Okay, yeah. I kind of like where you're going with this.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a mystery to new esports fans. What does CPJ stand for?
It's like nobody tells them that it just becomes this mystery. Everyone's like, oh, well, it's just like only for old esports fans. You'll never know.
And then they use this cool search engine I've just found recently called Google, and they can find it. I don't know if the young kids are onto that, though.
I'm really into this Ask Jeeves. I've been using it.
Yeah, well, Jeeves knows just about everything. It's crazy.
He looks like such a gentleman, too.
He's a butler, right?
Yeah.
So, there you go. All right, so let's take a look at these builds. I mean, it's Ultrazine, the biggest map. Both players went and expanded first. It's a Nexus first versus a Command Center first. Of course, the Command Center first followed up by a couple of Raxes, which is pretty normal. But then he adds a third Rax. And the probe is actually going to be able to see that. And not that this is too weird or anything. It's just
it's fortunate.
It's nice to be able to scout it.
Yeah. So now we can think about everything in terms of absolutes rather than just solid theories or guesses, estimations. And actually, no, he's not getting out of here.
Well, you scout 3 Raxes, right? You see, okay, this is a Command Center first, 3 Rax. You have all the information in the world. Basically, you're not going to be too greedy.
Yeah.
Because the 3 Rax is a little bit scary. The thing is, the map is so big and so long, you can still be pretty damn greedy.
It's true. SV is eliminated now, but not before scouted that it's also a Nexus first.
Yeah, he basically got all the intel as well.
Stargate is a great choice for this map.
Yeah. And when your opponent is this far away, probably going to do just fine with it. And in fact, I don't mind when people go into Phoenixes on this map. I think it's pretty good.
I don't know how much I like this move out on this map at this timing.
With the Marines?
Yeah, he could actually kill so many of these Marines with just one Stalker.
Like, if you have good Stalker micro...
he's going to kill this first one if he clicks it. Walks away, no damage done. He has so much space, he's like not even halfway to the base. He can just walk back, regen his shields, and come back again. That's
the thing. When the map is this long, like 1 or 2 Stalkers will kill everything. Now, ooh, that scan actually very, very good.
Very important, too, because if he wanted to keep rushing with his 3 barracks, and his Marines were out of position when the Oracle came in, that could actually cause death.
Well, he'll definitely have enough Marines all over the place to defend against this. And, in fact, already starting missile turrets.
Yeah. First one on the way. Factory's coming up here, too. He's built a healthy Marine count with this. 1 turret at each base is actually not going to be enough, but it will deter allow the Marines to come over and finish it off. You can kind of...
It's a turret, not a deterrent.
Yeah.
Wolf.
Well, okay. I thought it was a missile deterrent.
Yes, I suppose it is. All right, so we do have Phoenix follow-up here. I wonder how many he'll make, though, because you can make, like, 3 to kill off drops, or you can actually make, like, 5 and actually go around the map and harass.
Yeah, that's true.
And both are fine. Especially on this map, you can go for the higher counts, whereas some other smaller maps, you'd probably want to stick to 3.
Yeah, on this map, I like more if he's going to commit to it at all. These 2 Stalkers look like they're about to roll down the hill. Careful with those little pony trot legs. But
all right, so far he's actually doing some very good damage.
Yeah, 3 kills. Maybe get the 4th one there, yeah.
Wow, 4 kills, and it forced 2 missile turrets. And part of this, I would say, is due to those 2 Stalkers kind of keeping his attention and getting him perhaps to be out of position where he'd like to be.
Yeah. You know, he's, I think, going to stop at 3 Phoenixes here because he's going Twilight Council. If you go more Phoenixes than that, well, actually, he makes a 4th one. If you go more Phoenixes than that, I feel like it synergizes pretty well with Colossus composition.
You're right. It certainly does. But the one nice thing about Phoenixes with the Twilight is when people are harassing you with drop harassment, this can really help out a lot because you
Zealots
basically
can't
just
walk up cliffs.
Yeah, exactly. So like the Zealots aren't going to be able to chase very well. Thing is, the Zealots tank a lot, and I mean, it works out well defensively for those purposes. Once you actually get out on the map a little bit more, you're going to be in a weaker spot than if you went Colossus with the Phoenix.
That's true. Well, the Medivacs are out, but they're not going to be doing a whole lot apart from sticking with these Marines, I'd say. Good pylons placements over here to spot, and also can give them some warping points to harass later. Those two on the right side of the map are actually pretty close to each other. I could say, you know, maybe you should spread those out a little bit more. That's the only bad thing I can say about it, but not so bad.
Well, right now, I would say that Ruin's doing a very good job of things, right? He's killed a few off with his Oracle. He's flying around, doing some harassment, keeping some of the units at home, forcing more missile turrets, killing a few SCVs here and there. Even damaging a medevac is worthwhile.
Yeah.
You know, think of how many times you've played or watched from either side and seen medevacs at very low health get away.
Yeah, it's true. What are you going to do, repair him? If he does, that costs him money. That'd be good on him for repairing it, but, like, that forces that at least.
It's just pretty worthwhile. So we do have the 3rd base started up and a nice tag going down as well. And I got to say, like, I actually wrote on my little StarCraft blog something about Ruin after I watched his Code A matches last season because I was, like, so impressed with how much he's improved and the coolness of his strats and how well thought out they were. And if you look at this, it's more of the same. This is all lining up very well. He's going to have charge to defend this. He's tagging the army. He's flying around and harassing very well. I mean, look at this. His opponent has Vikings and he's going charge. Please make Vikings against my charge lots. That's what I want.
Yeah. Especially if he starts adding Archons in like it looks like he's about to do here.
Yeah.
You know, the Colossus will come later, but let's see how much damage he can get done here. I don't think he can actually force a cancel here.
I don't think he can. Like, he has charge, he has Guardian Shield, and he has 2 Archons. Well, if you're going to do terrible force fields like that, maybe.
But he actually,
force field's really not any good.
The Archon did make it so that it wasn't a catastrophe.
Yeah. Could have just sat there and killed a ton of Zealots if the Archons weren't there, but you got to be careful about having charge and force fields at the same time. We see this a lot from Protosses of any level.
Yeah, it's true.
Where the charge gets ahead of where everything's at, and
charge is actually something that I feel is not micromanaged enough. If all charge Zealots waste their charge on like some supply depot when you're attacking the Terran's base, and like they don't actually charge on the units, it's something I feel is like not even discussed enough. Like it seems like the only player I've ever seen intentionally turn charge off was Killer, and he did it like 2.5 years ago, and he never did it since I've ever seen. So like, I don't think it's really going to be a thing. But he's actually kind of stuck back here because those medevacs are going to die. There's no way out of here, and that force field is decent. Yeah, that's a very good force field, I would say. Once he does kill that off, there's not really enough left to even punish the Zealots being trapped. So he's just going to end up killing off this entire army. And I got to say, being out on the map with a medium-sized army against someone that has an Oracle to tag and Phoenixes and charge lots, that is exactly how you lose an army. Yeah. You really have to wait a little bit longer against a composition like this because there's no getting away from it and there's no beating it either because you need to kite back against charge lots, but that's something that's going to be extra hard with Phoenixes there. Yeah, very true. You're not going to be able to lift up and boost away if things get awry with Phoenixes on the map either. When we look at the army supply at the top right, it doesn't really tell the whole story because the cost of all those Archons, Phoenixes, makes a much better composition, plus the upgrades is getting out here. I saw that coming. I had my breath held for a long time, and then I breathed in even more. Oh, man. 2 Widow Mines were dropping, and I saw him. He was, like, moving his Zealots right near that pound of SCVs. I don't know why I called it a pound, but they got pounded, that's for sure. They got pounded, man. I'm having a hard time talking in this second cast. Well, we're going to get through it, Artosis. I hope so. These Phoenixes actually don't have any Marines to contest them, so that kind of sucks for the medevacs. Uh-oh. Oh, can he save them? No. Shouldn't be able to. Saves all but one. I think it would have been worth it to
micro that for an extra second. But, you know, he's going to go back, spend some more money. He's getting a Warp Prism now to help out with his harassment a little bit.
Ooh, Widowmine's hitting Archons. That's what they don't like.
Yeah, Ruin's being a little bit too forward at this point, I think. He doesn't really have a big enough army to deal with this correctly. I think he needs to sit back.
Time.
Yeah, he needs to get like some Psy Storms to go off and whatnot. He does have Psy Storm, right?
Yeah.
Like, pretty darn sure I saw it.
I'm pretty sure, too.
Yeah.
Just hasn't had to use it yet. There it is. So 2-1 versus 1-1 upgrade-wise.
Yeah, totally good for Ruin.
And this is something that's he's going to further get ahead in with his +3 armor.
And you know what? Finally an Observer coming out, because these Widow Mines could be a problem. Oh.
Wow, he's like,
not
whoa.
as bad as it could have been.
He's like, oh, there's got to be a 1 Widow Mine over here. Got to be careful about that. And he moves to our left side. He's like, oh, there's 2 over there. There's too many.
Yeah,
I'll fly up to the north. Oh no, 1 more.
Pretty much. Now he does have double Robo, so he can transition into. Oh man, there's like way more Widow Mines than he's used to, and then actually he runs away while his Observer goes forward. So some of those Widow Mines will make it out. And I got to say, overall, Reality is playing very well, except for overcommitting with that little medium-sized army against Phoenix Charge plus Oracle. Like, that's such a small army killer.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's played very, very well. Now we actually have double Immortals.
Yeah, he's switching into...
Thermalance doesn't upgrade Immortals.
No. I think he's just adding these in because he's up against a very Marauder-heavy composition, as you can see here. You know, Colossi actually take extra damage from Marauders, and the Marauders have so much hit points. I think this is not a bad choice.
Oh, totally. Getting 3 Immortals out here is really going to beef up his army, that's for sure. Now, in the meantime, we actually do have a lot of Zealots being warped into the main and natural here.
There's like 20 Zealots in those bases.
Well, if there's a time for Terran to move forward, it's against that much supply in his main.
Yeah, he's taking so much damage on those Storms. Nice control here, putting the Zealots in the funnel point. But, I mean, that is a lot of supply out of position, and even more now being warped in. But he's going to kill this whole reinforcing group. It's hard to actually attack into this. Nice feedback there. Double feedback. How does he do it?
Really well done. And with these High Templars coming up, ooh, he actually misses with that one. That definitely had enough energy to cast some spells. Meantime, his Stalker's getting in the way of these charge lots, but these 3 Immortals are going to make everything okay.
Yep, they absolutely will. Wishes he still had his Phoenixes to chase, but I think he's done a good enough job here. Finally, this is cleaned up at home, but the worker count now down to 32 for a Terran who's stuck on 3 bases. A 4th lingering over there. Not really getting anything done. That was a bit sloppy there, but Widow Mines have really just actually been Ruin's weak point this game.
They certainly have. I mean, if you're going to go for a unit composition like this, you start out with Stargate Tech and you go into charge lots. Widow Mines are like absolutely going to be hard to deal with. And he's been sloppy about it, but it's okay because he's done a lot of damage elsewhere. His supply looking really nice at the moment as well.
That cannon ring over there is just so good. That one stock on the low ground, even like adding its damage in. This drop is nowhere to go. Not getting out of here.
As is right now. There's only 35 SCVs left, Wolf, after all that harassment. That is a really weak economy with double Robo pumping out Colossi. And the fact that he has Psystorm and he's taking his 4th base. I don't know how you even get the right units with this low Terran economy to deal with this. You know,
I don't think you can, you know. I mean, he's about to have less Vikings than there are Colossi on the map. He doesn't have the Marauder count he used to either, at only now 9. With a ton of 3 armor Zealots, when only 1-1 upgrades also.
Oh, he's got 2-1
Oh, no,
now.
no, he does. Sorry, I was looking at the machine upgrade. It confused me, the vehicle upgrade.
Yeah, that's just for those 3 Vikings. I think a 4th Viking would be better than that at this point.
Maybe the armor would be more helpful for the Widow Mines that he was using earlier. And the Medivacs plating, like, this is not looking good, not looking promising here at all.
No, not at all, especially since he's like lifting up underneath observers at this point. There's like not even many observers on the map, but they're spotting everything they need to spot. With another Warp Prism on the way, more Colossus as well. Catches that Medivac. Ruin is, seriously, man, every season he's getting so good. And I remember a year ago watching him in some IEM qualifiers that he got really far in. And like I was going over some of those replays, and I was like, oh, I don't really care for this Protoss. I don't think he's very good. And to look at last season and now this, tell me this isn't a beautiful game from him, aside from the sloppiness against Widow Mines.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. He's played it very crisply, start to finish. Cross spawns on Altazim, he's basically leading a clinic on this. I have to say, you know, with how he's been able to play this, the early parts of the game, now that we've reached the late game, I don't know what Reality can actually do. It's hard enough as it is as a Terran player late game versus Protoss to balance your composition, but when you have no bank to speak of, it gets even harder. It's like making another factory. I guess he's going to try to get his Widow Mine count up higher. And unless he like lost his factory early on in the game, he wants to make more starports. I'm not sure what happened there, but
I don't think he lost it, did he?
I don't think so either, but he's not making any Widow Mines. So
maybe he did. Maybe he
did
the
zealot harassment. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. Somehow I missed it if it occurred, but that makes a lot more sense than just making another factory at the moment.
But I mean, it's just like these little things, right? If he has to make a factory and make another starport to help deal with these Tempests and the Colossi that are coming out, like, that's not a good thing, to put it in the simplest terms.
Well, you know, looking at this position, even though, you know, we've been singing the praises of Ruin and noticing these little things that are going a little bit harshly for Reality, this game isn't over yet, because this is a big map. There are some big wide open areas where Reality may be able to get a really nice engagement, and, you know, as we all know, if you get one really nice engagement against Protoss, things can fall apart. They have to have the right composition for sure.
This is a nice little pick off on that sensor tower. And it's probably not going to be the last thing he picks off with that. The Widow Mines that have been denying that fourth base, or fifth base, I should say. Oh yeah, it's a fifth base. Sorry, I saw that pro spawn. I'm like, no, is that a sixth base?
That's a new place for an expansion.
Yeah. It's been so denied, and now he also knows exactly when it's being taken, so he can maybe snipe it or force a cancel, as to say.
Well, at least, you know, this is becoming expensive for. He's warping his zealots, losing some cannons he's trying to make. It's kind of annoying. But in the meantime, we do have Tempest on the way. Now, what was that match that I believe you and I were commentating the other day when... Oh, it was Sora playing specifically on a giant map, either this or Frost, I believe, and he was in a great position, and then he was a little bit too far out and ended up losing to something kind of like this.
I think it was actually this map.
I think it was.
So this is really important that he hits these storms, and he's hitting them on ghosts, but blanket EMPs at all the Colossi. Doesn't have the Vikings he needs, though.
You know what? His composition was just too strong during that, I would say. There wasn't enough Vikings, and not just that, with that many Marauders, he had those Immortals still. He had 2 Immortals in there that were just behind enough that they never got hit in the battle.
Yeah.
And they did so much damage in that time.
They're really key. Plus the lack of armor means the Immortals are going to blow those Marauders sky high. Only a one point of armor. They just do so much damage to armored units. Sounds funny to say. It's like he gets more armor and becomes more vulnerable. But yeah, I don't see him recovering this time. He's 50 army supply down, and I wouldn't even want to see how much the cost of the army is if someone pressed A on that tab just to show me like the cost of this Protoss army with Tempest in it. And all the High Templar and the Archons, the Immortals at the back, like...
Actually, where are his High Templar? I don't see any in here.
I think they're, like, slowly joining up in the middle.
Yeah. I think you're right. Those are High Templars by the slow snail space that they're moving across.
They're like winning the race against the Tempest.
There they are. Just barely, because they got a head start. All right, so he does join up with a lot, 5 almost full energy High Templars, so that is quite a few side storms and feedbacks in there, no doubt.
Yeah, zoning these units out, forcing a lift on this CC. On this base, it's actually partially mined out at this point.
I have to say, Wolf, I'm not really sure who's going to come out of this group today because, you know, I was coming in thinking for sure Sulky, maybe Hiva, maybe Ruin, maybe Reality. And I was leaning towards Hiva, but look at this play by Ruin. It's really so nice.
The Tempest at the back doing so much extra damage here. That staying power they have, because you can't really snipe them. They're not going to die. They're not on the front lines. That's going to be it, you know. Even with the Vikings he has here, the Tempest alone are enough anti-air to push them back. Picks up that weakened Archon for a second, being cute.
Traps him in a Zealot prison. And
GG.
That's it. All right, so beautifully played by Ruin. Seriously, that is a great way to play that map. He played it fantastically. A little bit of sloppiness against Widowmines, but that can happen. You know, it's a big map. There's a lot to keep track of at that point in the game.
It can be confusing as well.
Well, Reality also left his Widowmines actually very cleverly in a funny place, in a funny position. It was just like kind of almost random seeming, which is why it caught Ruin so off guard.
Yeah, that's usually... Widowmines are usually used with push timings to punish charge zealot openings, and once the push is over, you just kind of send them home, but instead of doing that, he just made a minefield. I mean, for me in this group, I feel like whether or not... I feel like Hiva's getting out, but whether or not...
Hiva?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that whether or not it's Reality or Sulky was, to me, up to how in shape Sulky